Mikhail Tal, the magician from Riga, was an enigma on the chessboard. A former world champion, his style was a whirlwind of aggressive, imaginative play, marked by fearless sacrifices and combinations that left opponents reeling. He was known for disorienting even the strongest players of his era, including another former world champion, Tigran Petrosian. Petrosian was the ultimate fortress, a master of prophylaxis, whose solid positional style made him almost impossible to break. Nicknamed Iron Tigran, he built walls no one could tear down. He was a defensive genius, seemingly uncrackable, until 1974, when Tal crushed him in just 23 moves, a stunning miniature that shocked the chess world. So how did the most aggressive player in history dismantle the greatest defender in such a short game? Let's find out. But before we dive into the game, consider subscribing and giving this video a like if you enjoy legendary chess games. Alright, let's get into it. The game starts with knight to f3 and quickly transposes into the Perk defense classical variation. Tal continues with bishop to e2, both players castle, and knight to c6 provokes d5, and indeed, Tal pushes d5, attacking the knight. Petrosian retreats the knight to b8. Although black has moved the same piece twice, the d5 push might benefit Petrosian by opening lines for his fianchettoed bishop. Rook e1 by Tal, e5, and white immediately captures en passant to prevent black from repositioning the knight and later playing f5 for a kingside attack. Petrosian continued with bishop takes e6, bishop f4, h6, knight d4, hitting the bishop. Petrosian doesn't want to give up the bishop pair, so he moves the bishop back to d7, queen d2, attacks the pawn, and king defends. This game is an instructive lesson in how to punish passive and defensive play. Notice that up to this point, Tal's moves almost always come with threats, while Petrosian is responding passively, and that's going to cost him. Tal continues the pressure with e5 hitting the knight, takes, and here Petrosian plays the losing move, knight to e4. A simple tactic, exploiting the undefended bishop while attacking the queen at the same time. But you'll soon see why this move is a mistake, and Tal responds with the precision he's known for. What Petrosian should have done was redevelop the knight to c6, challenging the bishop. Perhaps he was concerned about losing a pawn in the following line, but in return, he'd gain an active position and a strong rook on the 7th rank. Anyway, after the exchanges, Tal plays knight f3, hitting the bishop back, and rook a to d1, putting pressure on the bishop. This is an excellent move and shows why Tal is one of, if not the greatest attacker in history. This ties black's position in knots. Moving the bishop loses a full rook, and developing the knight loses the bishop, so he played an ugly move queen to c8. Bishop c4 by Tal, putting pressure on f7. Bishop back to e8 defends, and here, in a classic Tal style, he plays knight e to g5, sacrificing the knight to break open black's kingside defenses. Computers suggest moving the king back to hold the game a little bit longer, but white could still continue the pressure with queen f4 or knight e6. Petrosian instead takes the knight, after pawn takes and knight check, king g8, queen f4, threatening queen h4 to deliver checkmate, knight d7, preparing knight f6 to cover h7. And Tal played another brilliant move. Rook takes knight, eliminating any sort of defenses that protects black's king. In fact, after knight d7, it's a mate in 15 and Tal found the correct sequence. After bishop takes rook and bishop takes f7 with check, Petrosian knows it's over and he resigns the game. For those wondering, here's how the game would have continued had Petrosian played on. This game is a masterclass in attacking chess. In just 23 moves, Tal dismantled one of the most solid defenders in history, proving once again why he remains one of the most beloved and dangerous players the game has ever seen. What do you think about this game? If you want me to cover other interesting games, let me know in the comments below.